January 15, 1947, Los Angeles, California. A cold morning sun rises over the city. A young woman walks down the sidewalk with her small daughter. In the distance, something catches her eye. Lying in an empty lot. She thinks it's a mannequin, pale, lifeless, but, as she steps closer, she realizes it's no mannequin at all. It's the mutilated body of a young woman, cut cleanly in half, drained of blood, and marked with a gruesome, permanent smile. This was the day the City of Angels lost its innocence, and the press would give the victim a name that would haunt Hollywood forever: the Black Dahlia. Her name was Elizabeth Short, born in Boston, Massachusetts in 1924. She grew up in a working-class family, but her childhood wasn't easy. Her father abandoned the family when she was young, leaving her mother to raise 5 daughters alone. Elizabeth was different. She dreamed big. She wanted more than an ordinary life. She was fascinated by movies, glamorous Hollywood stars, and the idea of a brighter future under California's warm sun. At the age of 19, she moved west, bouncing between jobs as a waitress, a clerk, and sometimes as a model. She was known for her jet black hair, porcelain skin, and fashionable black clothing, a style that earned her the nickname, the Black Dahlia, inspired by a popular film of the time, The Blue Dahlia. But behind the beauty and charm, Elizabeth lived a transient life. She often stayed in cheap hotels or with acquaintances. She moved through the glittering streets of Los Angeles, chasing her dream of becoming an actress. Sadly, she didn't know her name would become famous, not for her acting but for her brutal and mysterious death. On the morning of January 15, 1947, Betty Bersinger and her young daughter were walking through the Leimert Park neighborhood, when they spotted what they thought was a discarded mannequin lying in the grass. But as they got closer, horror set in. It was the body of Elizabeth Short. Her body had been severed in half at the waist with surgical precision. There was no blood at the scene. Investigators later determined she had been killed elsewhere, and her body carefully cleaned before being placed there. Her mouth had been slashed from ear to ear, creating what police called a Glasgow smile. It was a scene straight out of a nightmare, something Los Angeles police had never encountered before. And the brutality suggested something more than just murder. It hinted at a killer with a disturbing, almost theatrical sense of cruelty. News of the murder spread like wildfire. Newspapers splashed the story across their front pages. Reporters swarmed the police, desperate for details. The public was horrified and fascinated. Who could commit such a crime? The LAPD launched one of the largest investigations in its history. Over 150 suspects were questioned, from ex-boyfriends to Hollywood insiders to complete strangers. Tips poured in from across the country, but most led nowhere. One of the most controversial suspects was Dr. George Hodel, a wealthy physician known for his eccentric lifestyle. Years later, his own son, a former LAPD detective, would claim he found evidence linking his father to the murder. Other theories pointed to gangsters, jealous lovers, and even other serial killers operating in California at the time. But the deeper the investigation went, the murkier it became. Witnesses contradicted each other, evidence went missing, and the media circus made it nearly impossible for police to separate fact from fiction. The Black Dahlia case became more than just a murder. It became a symbol of Hollywood's dark side. It showed the world that behind the glamorous lights and red carpets, there was a city capable of terrible darkness. Over the decades, books, films, and documentaries have tried to piece together the mystery. Some believe the killer was a professional with medical training, others think it was a crime of passion, but the truth? It remains locked away, perhaps forever. Elizabeth Short's life was short, but her story has outlived her by decades. She has become an icon of mystery and tragedy, a reminder that sometimes the most beautiful dreams can end in the darkest nightmares. And so, after more than 70 years, the Black Dahlia's murder remains one of America's most chilling unsolved crimes. No one was ever charged, no definitive proof ever surfaced. Maybe the killer was someone famous, maybe just a stranger who vanished into history. But here's the real horror, not knowing. So what do you think? Was Elizabeth Short the victim of a skilled, calculated killer, or a random act of pure evil? Share your theories in the comments, because in this case, everyone has a theory, but no one has the truth.